I want to talk to you guys about something that I employ when I'm trying to harden up, get a little bit leaner. And what that is, among many things, but a lot of it has to do with the way that I train, exercise selection, and of course, it's going to be diet's a big component. What I'm eating, eating wise, like right now, I'm actually switched over and eating a lot of salad type stuff. I eat a lot of leafy vegetables, a lot of green stuff. And I'll usually take all that green stuff and I'll make a pretty exorbitant salad. I won't just make like, some lettuce and be done with that. I'll have lettuce and there's little tiny small tomatoes and beets and carrots and just all kinds of shit in there. And cucumbers, cut all that shit up in there with like spinach and kale or whatever I'm in the mood for as the bed, and a liberal amount of all that stuff. And then on top of that, I'll throw on whatever my protein is. Right now, usually it's some chicken. Right now, it's a lot of chicken. So I'll take a chicken and rip all the chicken off of one of those rotisseries or something like that and put that stuff on top of it, and I'll eat that. And I'll eat that a couple times a day like that. But when it comes to working out, some of the shit I'm going to have to show you in the gym. So I'm going to actually have to get into the gym early enough that I have enough space because I don't have as much access to the gym as I did before. Previously, we could go in after hours and do what we wanted to do and all that sort of shit. Now I can still do that. Some places, my buddy's place, I can still do that, but it's a longer drive from here for me, which I still appreciate the hell out of, and I'll do it. But I need to be in the gym to show you some of this stuff and explain some of the things I do. But one thing I do is I switch over to a lot of unilateral type of exercises. And that means, like, of course, my first exercise is always going to be a multiple joint, compound oriented type of exercise. That's my main primary staple exercise for whatever body part. So that's not going to be unilateral. That's going to be something usually with both hands on a bar or something similar to that. And after that, pretty much everything that follows is going to be unilateral stuff. Double-handled things, back exercises, even if it's with cables. It'll be like a double cable, pull down type of thing or whatever with individual handles. With arms, it'll be, very easy to envision that with arms. And what I will do with that is there will be no real rest per se. I'll do the right side, whatever I'm doing, and then when the right side's finished, I switch hands and grab, the other handle with the left hand and do that. When that's finished, back to the right, and I continue that way. I may change the weight selection as I fatigue or whatever have you, but there's no stop. There's no stop. That's the only rest I get. I move pretty much through an exercise with one hand and then immediately follow it up with the other side with the other hand. And I don't take the time to stop and actually not touch a weight and relax. If somebody's going to talk to me now, I'll actually talk while I'm working. I won't really stop for a conversation. So I do a lot of unilateral stuff. Now when it comes to something like calves, because of the way most machines are designed, I'll still pretty much do both calves at the same time. But then I'll also come back, another day in that week. Right now I'm doing calves like three times a week. So I'll come back and I will do one at a time. The only reason I don't do it so much with calves, it just takes longer because my calves really like high rep stuff. I'll still put some decent weight on, do lower reps, but my calves, there are some sets, one day if I do a calf work with a lower rep range and heavier weight, then the next time I may come in there, it depends how I feel, I may come in there and do calves with reps all the way up to 50 reps, with lighter weight. And then I may do drop sets where I'm doing like lots of reps. So often with calves, I will do both, but I'll even then do once in a while, I'll do one or the other, in succession. But pretty much unilateral stuff. Now, there's a lot of people will tell you cannot change the shape of a muscle, that it's genetic, it's predetermined, it is what it is. Well, in essence, when we define shape as being the actual appearance of that muscle, the way that it looks in the overall picture of your entire physique, if you look at it that way, then I'd have to say, yes, you can change the shape. Because even your chest, you have pectoralis minor and major. So there are different ways that you can stimulate different areas because you're stimulating different heads of the muscle. There are different exercises that you can exploit aspects of the muscle, various aspects of the muscle. You can place greater load depending on throughout the range of motion on a different part of the muscle, and thereby you can actually change the appearance, the shape of the muscle. So, people want to argue and nitpick over everything, but it works for me. I step up the pace when I want to get cut. Of course, it's diet, nutrition, all that bullshit, but especially as I've gotten older, I have the benefit of muscle maturity, have a lot more features. My muscles just look better, and so I get hard pretty easily, and that's one of the techniques I'll employ. I do a lot of unilateral stuff. It's just one thing that I do that it shows on my body. I think it shows on my body. So that's what I'm up to now. I'll keep you posted, and I'll try to stay injury free. At my age, it's a bit to do. There's always something around the corner that's going to crop up. It just is what it is. And if I can stay injury free and stay healthy, then I don't know how far I'll get, but we'll see. And then I'll act on future plans depending upon what I'm able to carry around as far as appearance. All right, just thought I'd throw that out there. Try unilateral exercises. Keep the pace up brisk, and if you want to rest and all that, do that on your first exercise, right? Your multi-joint compound main mass builder. After that, just exploit every kind of angle you can come up with. That's why I love cable machines. I like to change the angles of things. I like to change even little minute differences. If I'm doing like a dual pulley, like a free motion fitness, almost like the cable crossovers where I can swing the arms in closer, swing them out wider, make them lower, make them higher, you know what I'm talking about. I'll change the position of these arms. I'll use one arm, take one arm, and I'll put like a really long reach. It's kind of like a rope, but it's not the rope. It has handles on each side of it, but it's got a nice long piece of material between it, like a piece of I can't even think of the word I'm thinking of, but it'll be like a long piece of material joining the two, with a hook in the middle, but long. And I'll use that so I can pull way back. And if I change the angle, if I put it down to the arm low, so I'm pulling up, if I have my hands turned under, palms up, I pull up, I'm bringing in more rear delt. If I'm directly almost over it, then I can switch my hands, just turn them over, same exercise, pull again, and now I'm bringing in more trap. It's moving. So I can actually really, really get nitpicky as far as where I want the accent to be, where I want to place that stress. And that's critical to me as far as trying to bring out various features and aspects of my physique that I think are just hallmarks of a more mature, more complete, muscle. So just food for thought, just a little something else to think about. Take care and have an awesome afternoon.